Welcome, larva and giant kin, to the Monster Smash League, where feeding your mogwai after midnight is not only allowed, it's encouraged. I'm Batboy, and joining me on commentary is the 42nd head of Typhon, Greek father of all monsters.
Thank you, Matthew. But 42 has a head cold, so I will be filling in for him. Head number 8 is my designation.
Oh, all right. This feels like something I should have been warned about in advance.
You're probably wondering why I was assigned the number 8.
Not really, seems pretty straightforward.
No need to ask. I'll tell you. 8 is the number of perfection. The Egyptians believed that it is the number of balance and cosmic order. I, being the most dignified and intelligent, claimed the number for myself.
That's great, I guess.
So when 42 approached the group and explained his plight, I was more than willing to assume responsibility for his performance in this evening's Monster Fisticuffs event.
Monster Smash League.
Yes, that.
You seem very different from the Ty I'm used to.
Oh, thank Elysium for that. Though his skills as a broadcaster are admirable enough, number 42 is quite brutish and, shall I say, ignorant.
I suppose, but don't you all share a consciousness? You are one creature, after all.
Please, we share knowledge, but beyond that, our personalities are as varied as the colors of the rainbow.
Really? Well, I guess I've only spent time with number 42.
Yes, we know. We discuss your favoritism during our monthly meetings.
Meetings?
Yes, we have to gather every 30 days or so to report new developments and vote on important items.
So, if every head is different, what is head number 50 like?
Shy and introverted. He usually buries himself beneath everyone else.
Head number 99?
Absolutely adores Echidna. Very attentive as a husband and father.
Head number 69?
A pig, obviously.
Head number 2?
Second in command. Number 2 runs the day-to-day when number 1 is busy.
Then I have to know. Head number 1. The main, non-snake-like head atop your body.
Number 1 is the terrifying master of cruelty that battled Zeus. Every legend and myth speaks of him when telling the tale of Typhon.
With 100 heads, there has to be some overlap.
Well, yes. Some heads are more similar than others.
Any that are more like 42?
Why do you ask, Matthew? Do you not approve of my participation?
First of all, bath you? Secondly, it's not that I have an issue with you, 8. It's that we have a certain tone to uphold that our listeners expect. You're just less Fight Club and more Masterpiece Theater.
Ah, yes. You object to those who are cultured like myself.
Do you even watch the matches when you aren't in the booth?
What matches?
You, Typhon, are in the arena when 42 is calling the action. So have you, number 8, ever watched a Monster Smash?
I'm usually wearing earplugs and reading Dostoevsky or Chekhov.
Earplugs?
Ugh, the screaming and cheering can be very distracting.
So you know absolutely nothing about how any of this works.
Of course I do, Matthew.
Bat boy.
I told you. We all share knowledge. I know everything about these creature battle clubs that 42 does.
I find that hard to believe, and, if true, I now question everything number 42 has said up to this point.
I believe the next event on the program is to reveal which two beasts will be competing. Do we not contact Ms. Jennifer Greenteeth for that?
Well, you aren't wrong, Ty. Let's send it down to Jenny Greenteeth with the matchup.
Thank you for not calling me Jennifer, BB. I'm here in the Aberration Station Arena where the field has been transformed into a mountain cave system. Our geomages have produced a complex series of tunnels and caverns for the battle tonight.
Will it be difficult for us to see the action?
Not at all. Magic has rendered the exterior completely transparent, meaning that those on the outside will see everything happening inside. Within the cave, however, the walls are opaque and look like your standard stone walls, the perfect place to battle without the distractions of cheering fans.
See? Even the brutes are affected by the loud noise.
You're the absolute worst, number 8, and I hate you. Tonight's matchup is the first this season since we'll be branching out of the world of folklore and myth and into the realm of popular literature. It's going to be the sacred Chinese unicorn, the Qilin, facing down the dreaded Red Bull from Peter S. Beagle's novel, The Last Unicorn.
Thanks, Jenny. Well, number 8, you must be excited. A monster from literature.
I don't read fantasy.
Of course you don't.
I do find it amusing, however, that the bovine is from a book titled The Last Unicorn and will be facing a creature with the nickname of Unicorn.
Yes, Ty. Thank you for identifying the obvious theme of the evening.
You are welcome, Bartholomew.
We'll be right back with a breakdown of the Chinese Qilin, right after this message from our human sponsors.
I think that went well.
Hey, can someone find Echidna and have her send in a different head? You need to check out the new podcast, And the Oscar Does Not Go To. Do you like movies? Do you like the Oscars and other award shows? Do you ever ask yourself, why the heck did The Shape of Water win Best Picture in a year where Get Out was nominated? Our very own Jenny Greenteeth, Wendy Penrod, and Baba Yaga herself, Tiffany Mills, will take you on a hilarious and thoughtful journey back in time to the Academy Awards of yesteryear to talk about a movie that won versus a movie that didn't to see if the results hold up. They've done episodes like Pulp Fiction versus Forrest Gump, Knives Out versus Parasite, Good Will Hunting versus Titanic, Brokeback Mountain versus Crash, and so many more. Try it out. I promise you won't regret it like I regretted seeing The Shape of Water in theaters. You can find And the Oscar Does Not Go To on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other listening platforms. And now, back to the show.
During the earliest years of the Tang Dynasty, Famen Temple had become a haven for refugees fleeing the chaos of war caused by the end of the Sui Dynasty. Buddhist monks had been recruited by Emperor Gaozu as caretakers of the spiritual grounds, as well as for the many homeless families. After the widespread revolts and civil wars, it seemed as if peace would finally engulf the land. Then, one night, enemies of the empire invaded the temple and attacked the innocent people who slept there. The sky alighted with flames as the Buddhist buildings burned and the sounds of shouting filled the night air. A lone monk lay dying as several of the raiders approached him to finish their evil work. Suddenly, the vile warriors stopped as their eyes were drawn to a sight they had only heard about in legend. An animal similar to a short-necked giraffe, with Chinese dragon-like features and a single antler protruding from its head, walking towards the monk so silently as to doubt it was even touching the ground. The creature's golden scales glimmered in the light from the flickering fire, as it gently stood over the sage and lowered its face to nuzzle the doomed man's bloody hand. The invaders stood in awe, while the monk smiled weakly and, using the last of his strength, placed his hand upon the mythic beast's upward flowing mane. In his final moment, he felt warm and at peace. When his breath had ceased, the beast raised its head to gaze upon his murderers. One by one, the men lowered their weapons until the creature gracefully turned and patiently walked back toward the smoke it emerged from, its cloven hooves never making even a hint of noise. While it could not change the outcome of the events they had participated in, those few warriors were forever changed from their encounter, for they had witnessed a Qilin. A chimerical creature that blends the features of a deer, giraffe, and dragon, The Qilin is said to appear when an illustrious ruler or great sage arrives or passes on. Depicted usually with one horn or antler, the mythical beast is sometimes known as the Chinese unicorn, due to its vague resemblance to and benevolent demeanor of the famous horned horse of ancient lore. So pure-hearted and gentle is the Qilin that it walks on air so as not to trample or disturb a single blade of grass. Traditionally a pacifist, the animal abhors violence and will refuse to engage with any hostile enemies unless they are of a purely evil origin. When it does come to the aid of an innocent being stalked by the forces of darkness, the Qilin gallops from the skies with a blazing aura and fiery breath, incinerating its foes with divine judgment and fury. So, if your heart is full of hatred and murder, take heed. You may find that one of your victims was cosmologically meaningful in the eyes of the heavens. If that is the case, you might find yourself staring into the eyes of peace and purity taken physical form. Will you lay down your arms? Or will you face your own mortality? Will you face the Qilin?
G'day folks, I'm Yowie, and I'm here to break down the Qilin's strengths and weaknesses on the battlefield. Joining me at this time is China's greatest philosopher and politician, the paragon of sages everywhere, Master Kong, better known as Confucius.
Greetings, my hairy friend.
First off, it's an honour to be in the presence of the Ridgy-Dig master of memorable quotes.
Ah, yes. I've been informed that since my death in 479 BC, many people have come to assume that wise proclamations they read originated from me.
Didn't they?
Some, yes. But I would estimate that about 95% of the quotes attributed to me on the internet are false.
Oh, well, I've always been inspired by your inspirational motto, our greatest glory is not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. A beautiful slogan for perseverance.
Yes, it is. And I didn't say it.
Oh, sorry. Then, I suppose, my next favourite word of wisdom from you would have to be, choose a job you love and you'll never work a day in your life.
Also not me. No one chose their occupation when I was alive. You were simply thrust into farm life or inherited your father's trade.
Okay, but what about the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
That's the Bible. Mine is, do not impose on others what you do not wish for yourself.
Kind of the same thing, though.
Well, Jesus wants you to go out of your way to do things in pursuit of God's approval, while mine simply means don't be a jerk to people.
Well, I'm stoked to know that all of my background homework I did preparing for this segment is completely bodgy and old Yowie is a dill.
Come now, I did say plenty of things like study the past if you would divine the future.
Oh, wow, so the original history repeats itself.
And the cautious seldom err.
Very nice.
And it is better to light a candle than to curse the darkness.
Actually, mate, it says here you didn't say that one.
Oh, really? Huh. Weird.
Anyway, we're here to discuss the Qilin. What makes you qualified to discuss this magnificent beastie?
When my mother was pregnant, a Qilin appeared as I was about to be born. Since then, I've always felt a kinship with these gentle creatures.
Ace! So, first of all, what exactly can these things do?
The Qilin are divine animals that have been rumored to dwell within the gardens of deities and the most prestigious and benevolent of emperors. Their intelligence, durability, and speed are greater than your average mythical being.
A bonzer advantage.
Indeed. Combined with its ability to airwalk and project an aura of sacred flames, makes it incredibly difficult to attack.
Plus, these things are lucky, right?
A minor influence over fate, yes. Stories have indicated that Qilin symbolize good luck and are able to subtly alter events to be more beneficial to those they might try to protect.
Making it even more of a challenge to pin down. But the real question is how this Chinese unicorn can take the fight to the enemy.
The Qilin is primarily a pacifist. They hate harming innocent things, which is why they walk on the air.
Avoiding stepping on grass and other small creatures.
Yes, but they are capable of unleashing a bout of fire from their mouths when provoked. In addition, they have their hooves and antlers for physical assault.
Antlers? I thought they only had the one.
Sometimes. It's not very consistent. The one in today's match has only one.
Speaking of the match, you've mentioned that the Qilin is non-violent. How exactly are we encouraging it to participate in the Monster Smash today? Seems like it wouldn't really want anything to do with this kind of brutality.
Alas, this I do not know, but I wish it good fortune in the challenge to come.
I guess we'll have to wait and find out. Thanks for gabbing with me, Confucius. It's been a ripper.
To know what you know and what you do not know, that is true knowledge.
I don't think that one is yours either.
Still sounds good. I'll take it.
Back to you, BB. Hooroo.
Thanks, Yowie. What do you think of the Qilin, number 8?
Oh, boy! That's one heck of a peculiar buck, I'll tell you what.
Wait, you're not head number 8.
Shoot, I curse I'm not. I'm head number 93. A kid had dropped in and said you was needing a new talker for your radio program, so I skizzled on down here and kicked Stuffy Butt back to the homestead.
Okay. Well, what are your thoughts about the Qilin's pacifism?
Man, I had a cousin who said he was one of them old pacifists, wouldn't harm a butt hair on a chip.
Charming.
He didn't last long when cornered by a herd of wild pegasi. You ever seen a wild pegasi?
No.
Have you?
No.
They're terrifying. The sounds they make, their hooves all glowing, like the piranhas of the sky. Ain't a bit of meat left on that sumbitch.
Gee, look at the time. We need to go to a commercial break and then hear about the Qilin's opponent, the Red Bull.
No hassle here. I'll keep going while them ants play. So anyway, my cousin Stone McCracklefist, he was fighting them off, but he was one of them pacifist people. So like they were punching him and staring him and winging him that's when they punch you with their wings.
Completely remove the hair from the left nostril. Leave it nice and bushy in the right. Grease up those warts and oil up the armpits. A little garlic mist for the pores, and done. About time, man. That crusty red cap by the slug fountain was asking about you. Then I better go ogre there and pop some pimples. You sludge dog.
Greener Me body care and grooming supplies for goblinoids and swamp people. Tired of clean scenery? Then try the Greener Me.
He was the color of blood, not the springing blood of the heart, but the blood that stirs under an old wound that never really healed. A terrible light poured from him, like sweat, and his roar started landslides flowing into one another. His horns were as pale as scars. The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. What does it take to frighten an immortal? A being destined to live for eternity should be confident in its place within the cosmic cycle, should it not? True, occasionally grievous injury from a power greater than themselves could theoretically harm them, even end them. But such rarity is nothing to fear. So what does it take to frighten a unicorn, a creature that has lived forever? An entity that is older than forever. The Red Bull. An elemental agent of chaos and terror, the Red Bull is relentless in its pursuit of those it has been tasked to hunt. With strength that is rumored to have no beginning and no end, even traditionally legendary beasts like dragons, harpies, and unicorns are helpless when faced with its blazing might. Only King Haggard, the miserable and selfish Lord of Hagsgate, was able to bestow any form of control over this fiendish bovine. It is said that Haggard, through a mixture of stubbornness and unhappiness, did not fear the Red Bull when all others would, and curried its favor by tasking it with a purpose. Collect all of the unicorns of the world, so they might bring him joy. With brutal efficiency and tireless drive, all but one of the immortal guardians of the forest were corralled and trapped within the ocean waves beneath Haggard's castle. A job well done for the Red Bull. But eventually, the terrible elemental will outlive its master and move on to the next prey, because fear is timeless.
Measuring anywhere between the size of a standard bull to larger than an elephant due to its ability to grow while in pursuit is the Red Bull.
It gives you wings. I'm not allowed to have Red Bull because my doctors say I'm hyperactive, whatever that means. So the energy drink gives me energy, which is bad according to my doctors, because otherwise I just keep talking and talking and talking.
Folks of lore, let me introduce you to head number 14.
Oh, hey everybody, my name is number 14 because no one likes my brothers, which is really fine because I don't like my brothers either because they're always picking on me and they're always saying things like, Mom didn't like you, and I'm always like, excuse me, I'm part of this body too. And they're always like, and I'm like, and they're like, and I'm like, and then sometimes I just wish that I could go away and like go hang out on something or like play on a playground or do something else. But I'm like, oh man, I gotta bring all these little heads with me. And then it's like, oh my gosh, there's so many other heads. And then I'm like, can I read their thoughts? And then I'm like, oh my gosh, can they read my thoughts? And then I realize I can't read their thoughts because they can't read my thoughts, or at least I don't think so because I can't read their thoughts. And so that's what's going on. So like today they were like, do you want to be in there with Bad Boy? And I was like, Bad Boy, oh my gosh, I like Bad Boy. And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I know because I like him because I listen to him all the time, but I don't know where I know him. They're like, you know, because you're with Ty all the time. And I'm like, oh, that's right, I'm part of Ty's body.
Thank you for that. So, the Red Bull hails from Peter S. Beagle's fantasy novel, The Last Unicorn. Have you ever read it, number 14?
I haven't read it because sometimes when I start to read books, I lose interest because I'm like, how come I can't see anything? And then my mom's like, that's what your imagination is for. And I'm like, my imagination? Oh my gosh. I have so many things going on in my head all the time with the imagination. I just can't sit down and read. So my mom's like, well, there's the Last Unicorn movie. So I sat down and I was like, the last unicorn of my life. And then my mom was like, please stop singing now, please. We're at the dinner table. And I was like, but I'm the last unicorn. And she was like, we're at the dinner table. And I was like, sometimes I don't like to eat dinner because sometimes my tummy is just not that hungry by the time I get to dinner because I spend the whole time snacking. That's what my mom says, I snack too much. And so I'm like, I don't even want to do that. So sometimes I'll just not watch or eat anything at the dinner table. But I'm like, why do I even have to eat if the other heads are eating? Because sometimes it doesn't matter. It all goes to the same stomach, doesn't it? My mom's like, how do you know so much about stuff? And I'm like, because I read some stuff. And then she's like, I thought you didn't read books. And I'm like, you got me, I don't. But I did watch a movie on it. So sometimes I've watched The Last Unicorn, but I don't remember a lot of it except for that there was a tree that had boobs.
Yes, the movie is probably how most people have been exposed to the story. So the Red Bull...
It gives you wings. I'm alive. The last unicorn. It gives you wings.
...is a demonic elemental creature that is able to change size, trample its foes, and instill unnatural terror in those it hunts.
One time I got scared of a bull because it was a minotaur, so I guess it's more of a half bull and a half man, but I still got scared because men scare me. Because not the animals or not the monsters, but as people say, the most dangerous animals, man. And I was like, oh my gosh, maybe that's really true. And one time I was watching this documentary about the world and about the earth and about pollution, and I was like, oh my gosh, man is the worst part of this whole thing. So I was like, anytime I see a man, I'm gonna get scared. And so I saw a man and I was like, ah. And then I saw another man and I was like, ah. And then I saw a woman and I was like, I don't know how to feel about that. But then I was like, I shouldn't be gendering people because I don't know if it was a man or a woman, because the way that we have our gender expression is different from our gender identity. And so I was just like, hello, how are you today? And the person was like, I'm good. And I was like, that's cool. And then I was like, maybe I don't have to be so scared.
It also has a fiery aura and can teleport around as a fireball.
Oh, fireball, whoosh!
Yes, whoosh indeed. But it's also blind.
Oh, I know what that means. That means that it can't see, because one time I went to a school and somebody was like, we're going to pretend like we're blind so we can talk about our senses. And I was like, oh my gosh, how many senses do I have? And my teacher was like, you have 5. And I was like, oh my gosh, what? 5 senses? That seems like a lot of senses. And then she was like, one of them is being able to see. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can see how that could be something that's pretty exciting for people to know about. And so then she put on these dark glasses and I had a stick in my hand. And then one of my other classmates was supposed to show me around. But then I was like, wait a minute, I'm attached to other heads. And so so how come I'm the only one that's acting like I'm blind? Then I realized it was just the other heads playing a trick on me, and so I couldn't say anything, because when I couldn't see, I stopped talking. For some reason, people don't like it a lot when I talk, so I totally understand. That means when it's blind, that means you can't see.
Yes, it can only detect its prey using a sort of life sense.
Ooh, that's amazing. Like a life sense, like something that it looks around and it's like, I can sense if this thing has any life in it. I wonder if that would be a really hard thing to do. Like, if that's some jobs that somebody has, like, that'd be really hard. Like, I think that I would hate that. Do you think there's anything that this monster hates? Like, do you know how, like, Superman hates Clark Kent, and, like, because it's his inner side, right? It's like who he's actually supposed to be, but it's not who it is. He's the fake one, you know, because Superman's the real thing. I wonder if it's like with Superman with kryptonite, where it's like, it's a part of where he comes from, but he also hates it, which is something that my therapist keeps talking to me about, which is something inherently inside of us, but it's something that we hate. And so sometimes my therapist is like, maybe you talk so much because you inside you hate yourself, and I'm like, I don't hate myself, I think I'm pretty cool. And then I had a conversation with myself where I was like, hey, how are you? And I was like, I'm doing good. What is your name? My name is number 14. What's your name? And then it's like, my name is Sally. And I was like, oh, hi Sally, what's going on? And then it's like, how are you? What do you hate? And I said, nothing. Do you think that the monster hates something?
Surprisingly excellent questions, 14. The bull is not a fan of water, as you would expect from an elemental largely consisting of fire, and it also hates sunlight.
Oh, like a vampire. Sometimes I like, is this a Red Bull that's also a vampire? Is it like a vampire Red Bull, and then it's going to suck on the necks of other Red Bulls, and those Red Bulls are going to be like, I have wings, and now I'm a vampire, so it's a vampire that can fly that has wings. But what kind of wings? Because most vampires have bat wings, but sometimes, and when you watch the commercials for the Red Bulls, the wings that they give you are like angel wings. Once there's like an angel wing vampire, and sometimes people are like, oh my gosh, this is a vampire, but it's going to suck your neck, but it also looks like an angel, so where is it from? Is it from heaven or is it from hell? And then somebody's like, I don't think those two things exist. And you're like, what are the Jehovah's Witnesses doing here?
No, Ty. The Red Bull is not a vampire.
Silence to use a wooden stake to kill it, you know, or like maybe some garlic, or like a mirror, or like a silver bullet, or like bring a priest in and be like, this is the holy water, or they should just sit there and be like, let's just talk until the sun comes up. But then sometimes you're like, oh no, what if it's a vampire that's just a sparkly vampire, not a vampire that goes away when the sun comes up? And so you're like, what kind of vampire is this bowl going to be? And so they should do all kinds of things. They should just talk to it, and it should be ready. And if it does have sparkly, then it should start to think like, maybe this is just a vampire that needs a girlfriend, because that's what happened in that movie that I saw. There was a vampire, and his skin was all sparkly, and then he got a girlfriend, and then they had a baby, and the baby was weird looking.
Not a vampire, 14.
But it'd be really cool if it was a vampire, because if it was a vampire and it was a bull, it would be like this Red Bull vampire, and then it would be like it could never live, like die, and then sometimes it would be like, I'm only awake at night, and then this whole thing would be like, why are we doing this at night, and where's this coffin, and who makes a coffin for a bull, and like, how does the bull even fit into a coffin, because the coffin is shaped the way that the coffin is shaped. And so sometimes it's like, what if we all couldn't fit inside coffins, or what if we didn't even need coffins? And so sometimes I think about that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, the existentialism of knowing that someday I'm gonna die is pretty amazing. And I think like, what if I die, but what if my other heads don't? And then I'm just sitting there like a limp head while the other head's there, and they're all like, oh, I miss number 14, number 14 was the greatest. And then everybody's like, oh my gosh, what happened to number 14? They're like, I don't know, it's a circle of life. And then everybody's like, oh my gosh, we should watch that movie.
This was not the sort of show I was expecting to be a part of when I woke up this morning.
I never woke up this morning because I technically didn't go to sleep last night. Like, we laid down into bed, of course, because some of my other brothers and their heads laid to sleep. But I was like, I'm just too excited to sleep because I was excited about doing this tomorrow. And so I was like, we're going to be watching this amazing Monster Smash ride. So I was just sitting there and I was thinking there. And then I looked over and I saw number 62 was sleeping. And I was like, look at him, he's still sleeping. But we have the same body. How come he's still sleeping and I'm not? Why is that so weird? How come we have different heads? How come we have different brains? What's going on in his brain? What's going on in his? So instead I just sat there and I just watched him sleeping all night. And I never went to bed because I just sat there and watched him sleeping.
Wait, why?
I was painting him like a French girl, like in that movie where the boat sinks, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, that cute boy's gonna have a boat sink, and what's he gonna do? And the girl's like, I don't want to be here by myself. And so she jumps off the boat, and her mom's like, no, what are you doing? You can't jump off. And the other guy's like, oh, the real man makes his own luck.
Not entirely sure why I asked that, because this just turned incredibly creepy.
Oh, yeah, I could paint you too if I want. I could sit here and just do it right now in my mind. I could be like, what color would I paint for Bat Boy? And then you'd just be like, oh my gosh, number 14, you're the best in the whole world of coloring.
That's alright. I'll pass.
No, you don't need to worry about passing. I'm doing it right now in my mind because there's nothing that you can do because it's just in my mind, like with my imagination.
I'll go ahead and turn the time over to Jenny Greenteeth. Jenny?
Thanks, BB. Sounds like things in there are going really well for you.
Uh-huh.
Oh, Jenny, you're really, really pretty. Oh my gosh, you look just like this girl in my class that I knew, and her name was Cherry, and I just remember thinking, like, oh my gosh, her name is Cherry. That's like my favorite color. And it's my favorite color is red, and my favorite sucker is also a cherry. So I was like, hey, I went up to her and I was like, hi, Cherry, you're really pretty. And she's like, thank you so much. I know, I'm pretty pretty.
Fun. Well, folks, We have 2 fighters today who happen to have the ability to gore with horns or antlers, so we thought we'd enlist an expert to tell us a little bit more about stab wounds. I have here with me a Valkyrie from Norse mythology, which means I'll never be able to pronounce this name. Herfjordanort.
That's actually Herfjuter.
Herfurter.
Herfjuter.
Halfjouter.
Herfjuter.
Horseflarter.
Herfjuter.
Nerfherder. Hoofleafler. Hoofnoof-noof-nof-neef-nerf-nurture.
My name is Herfjuter.
I'm gonna call you Herf. So, Herf, you are one of the famous Valkyries, battle maidens of the gods who escort vanquished souls of mighty warriors to the halls of Valhalla.
Yes. My sisters and I serve under Odin and judge the slain, sending the greatest fighters to Valhalla to prepare for Ragnarok.
So you've seen a lot of battle.
Absolutely.
The odds of somebody getting stabbed in this monster smash this evening are, well, Vegas level good. So could you tell us exactly what goes on when pierced with a weapon?
Certainly. Many of my fellow Valkyries carry spears, so we're well aware of the damage a well-placed impalement can cause.
So between slashing and piercing, which is better?
Well, if you're trying to use self-defense or retreat, slashing with a sword or dagger into a muscle group can cause impediment to the range of motion of your attacker. But if your intention is deadly force, stabbing will concentrate on one spot, increasing the focused pressure and allowing the point to slip right in.
In the name of Ty, that's what she said.
Once impaled, depending on the location,
Abdomen being the most common.
the weapon may damage vital organs and cause internal bleeding, something that most slashing weapons don't inflict.
Any downsides?
Mortality rates of piercings is lower than blunt force trauma, and a horn or knife won't cause widespread damage like a gunshot wound, so the lethality is limited. Most deaths from stabbings are from organ failure or blood loss, so it isn't quick either.
Still, watching matadors get gored by bulls is pretty harrowing.
Yes, but you have to remember that the amount of force behind the strike will also play into the damage done. Jabbing someone with a spear is very different from getting tackled by 1,500 pounds of survival instinct with a sharp tip. Terrible and outdated sport, by the way.
Very true on both counts. Luckily, this battle will be much more fair, and both creatures have agreed to this fight.
Really? How did you convince the Qilin to fight when it hates violence?
You'll just have to wait and see. Thank you again, You crazy Valkyrie, you.
Herfjuter.
That's what I said. Thanks for exploring the world of pointy trauma with us. One time I accidentally stabbed myself with a toothpick and it really hurt really bad, but then I realized it wasn't a toothpick. It was actually a sharp pretzel stick, and I was like, where'd that sharp pretzel stick come from? And then somebody was like, you were just eating them, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I looked down and they were holding a bag of pretzel sticks, and I was like, oh my gosh, it was me, and I didn't even actually stab me, it just poked the inside of my mouth, so then I just ate it. How did you get here, 14? You're supposed to be in the booth. Bat Boy said I need to come see you right away because he had this Viking lady with you, and Vikings are really cool because, like, one time I was like, very funny, BB.
Yeah.
Watch your back. I just learned how dangerous a well-placed knife can be.
Well, Smash fans, as I contemplate just how much worse this day can get for me, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll find out if the Red Bull's unicorn dominance is cross-cultural, or if the Qilin's divine luck will hold out. Don't go away.
Like the team called the Vikings.
And now, an ad from Marrow Unlife. It took 13 minutes to reach the doors to the mall from the parking garage.
Stupid trembling legs. Please let there still be some survivor meat left.
Only to find out that the humans are barricaded in the mall on the other side of town.
I'm gonna kill Terry. How hard is it to remember which one is the north side mall and which is the south side mall? One's in the north and one's in the south, Terry!
Even worse, you could have used those 13 shambling minutes to switch your Unlife insurance to Marrow. Marrow. 13 minutes could save you 13% or more on Unlife insurance.
Welcome back to the Monster Smash League. I'm Batboy, and joining me on commentary is, Typhon, Greek father of all monsters. Do we have a head for this?
Indeed.
Oh, wow. You are
Head number 1.
a true Typhon. I'm honored.
I have chosen to end this ridiculous rotation of lesser personalities so that you may experience the true terror and might of the father of all monsters.
I see that you've chosen to hunch way over so that you can get your face into the booth. Are you comfortable?
Comfort is for the craven. I will endure.
You also destroyed the roof.
I apologize for nothing.
Fair enough. Are you excited for the Qilin versus the Red Bull?
I forever yearn to view bloodshed and destructive violence.
Well, all right then.
It occurs to me, however, that many have wondered why this peaceful Chinese creature will be engaging in mortal combat.
Ah, yes, that. Earlier, Jenny mentioned that this battle is a first for this season due to featuring a creature from popular fiction, but she didn't mention that there is another reason our match tonight will be unique.
Enough useless platitudes. Reveal the information.
Right. Tonight's smash will be a dangerous game of keep away.
Explain.
The Qilin agreed to participate if we altered the requirements for victory. Instead of having to beat the Red Bull into submission, the Qilin will be trying to escape the Red Bull.
I see. This explains the network of tunnels that have been placed in the field of battle.
Yes. Both combatants will begin deep within the maze of caverns and passages. If the Qilin is able to evade the bull and find the exit, it will be declared the winner.
And if the fiendish bovine is able to subdue or eliminate the Qilin, it will be victorious?
Bingo.
A fascinating situation. I will remain impartial, though I secretly wish for the path with the most injury and pain.
Well, the Red Bull is definitely an evil entity, so the Qilin will have no issue if it is forced to engage.
Good. Let us begin.
Alright. Then go for it.
You mean the ceremonial exclamation of the sports title?
Yeah.
Pointless showmanship. I refuse.
Fine. I'll just do it, I guess. Monster Smash! Our two fighters have begun the challenge in two different parts of the cave system, so we'll see how fast the Red Bull can lock onto its target.
The Qilin mocks its opponent. It is walking calmly instead of rushing to find an exit.
You're right, Typhon. The Chinese unicorn is even stopping to smell interesting rocks every once in a while. It certainly doesn't seem to be taking this seriously.
This angers me, though I recall that the Qilin is not an overly cautious creature.
Yes, it's less skittish deer and more lazy giraffe right now.
Good. The bull is on the prowl.
Looking at the other section of tunnels, that red bovine is not wasting any time. Even making its own path!
As all dangerous foes do.
Well, this is about to come to a head real soon. Look at the Qilin!
It reminds me of a doe staring into the lights of an oncoming vehicle.
Folks, the Qilin is just standing and looking in the general direction of the noise. This is about to get ugly. Contact!
Blast! I was hoping the rubble would collide with the gentle creature, yet it gracefully leapt to safety.
Amazing. The Uniraph is still not running. It's silently staring at Haggard's pet.
Ah, I have seen this many times. It is assessing the threat level of the Crimson Cow, staring deep into its blind eyes.
Interestingly, the Red Bull seems perplexed. It's probably wondering why the Qilin isn't running in fear. Well, as a divine creature, it is immune to supernatural terror, and so that effect is neutralized.
I believe this means that my wish for violence is about to ensue. The bull is pawing at the stone and has ignited its aura of flame.
It's going to charge. Here it comes. Whoa!
Impressive. The animal's agility combined with its airwalking allowed it to simply leap straight up and stand above the bull as it passed beneath.
Colliding with the wall! And now the ceiling is collapsing from the impact. Boulders and stalactites are falling from above.
The bull is being pelted with stones while the Qilin is standing perfectly still.
How is it not being hit by debris?
I believe it was mentioned that this Chinese monster has an element of good fortune imbued within it.
I think you're right, Typhon.
Of course I am.
And now the Qilin has taken off down the tunnel. The chase begins.
Was there not another way to inspire the Qilin to battle more directly? I fear this game will infuriate me.
Well, we tried to find a sage or truly pure person for it to protect, but every religious person we could find was Catholic.
Yes, that wouldn't work.
Yeah, bit of a non-starter.
The Red Bull is in pursuit.
Wow, it's much faster than I thought it would be.
This demon benefits from a variation of bloodlust that allows it to increase its speed the longer it is in chase.
Well, that means there's a time limit on this whole contest.
I would assume that the Qilin's luck will expire eventually.
It's strange to see the Uniraph running but making no sound.
To be expected from one who does not touch the ground.
They take a right, then another right, then a left, a right, a left, a right, left, right.
A poor choice.
He's right, folks, because we're heading straight for a dead end.
And with the bull having noticeably grown larger in size, the collision will be devastating. I grow more excited with every passing minute.
Someone should inform the Qilin because it hasn't slowed down at all. Wow, such grace.
I grow more weary with each passing minute.
Like an inverted Olympic swimmer switching directions, the Qilin just kicked off of the stone, backflipped, and spun to right itself as it climbed over the charging elemental and continued back the way it came.
And this Red Bull crashes into yet another wall. Is this creature intelligent?
Yes, but it's very driven, almost obsessed with running down its prey. You could say it has, pardon the pun, tunnel vision.
I will not pardon anything.
Okay, I'll just continue then?
There is nothing to ramble on about. The bull has yet to even turn around as the craven pacifist is well beyond its reach now.
You may have spoken too soon, Typhon.
My speech is perfectly timed.
Yes, but the Red Bull just turned into a fireball and instantly appeared in front of the Qilin.
And the animal is unable to stop in time. Wonderful. The Chinese unicorn has been driven forcefully into the cave structure.
A tremendous headbutt, to be sure. The Qilin was so surprised by the bull's teleportation that it couldn't react.
It is trying to regain its footing.
Tackled into the side again. It's as if the Red Bull said, no, please, don't get up.
Why would a creature such as this say such a thing?
It's just a colorful way of saying it shoved its opponent back down.
I believe I am supposed to be the color commentator, correct?
Well, yeah.
Very well. It's as if the Red Bull said, no, please don't get up.
Great. Well put. Oh, now it's getting bad.
This is what I was looking for. A relentless assault by the Red Beast.
The Qilin is getting absolutely brutalized. What will it do? Hot!
It seems the Qilin is willing to retaliate now. Its sacred flames have just ignited and pushed the beast back momentarily.
Each creature's aura is blending with the other. It's just one big burning mass. Ooh, that was a perfectly placed antler.
Yes, wonderful. The Red Bull's temporary surprise has cost it the advantage. The Qilin has drawn blood with a swift uppercut under the chin.
Blood? What blood? That looks more like liquid magma spilling out.
Let us see the bull's anger push it to the next level of aggression.
Hopefully its anger will translate into speed because the Chinese unicorn just bolted again.
Luckily, the monster is already pursuing.
Look there, Typhon. The Qilin is galloping upwards, hugging the ceiling. Will this pose a problem for the flightless bull?
Unlikely. See how the bull is already increasing in size, filling up more of the tunnel? A practical counter to the opponent's airwalking.
It's bigger than an elephant now! Which isn't making those those turns any easier.
More debris is descending from above.
And still no contact. The Qilin's luck is holding strong.
For now, the bull is catching up.
It's getting too close.
A daring maneuver. And a perfect follow-up.
I've never seen tactics like this before. The Qilin waited until the Red Bull was within a few feet before nosediving to the floor and keeping low, causing the enlarged bovine to run over the top of it without hitting it.
Except that its antler was tall enough to rake the underbelly, slicing deep into the beast's torso.
Magma is pouring all over the Uniref, but being immune to fire, it is unfazed.
The bull needs to recover after tumbling down the path, or else it will lose everything.
A powerful blast of fire breath just erupted from the Qilin's mouth, engulfing the Red Bull.
A grave miscalculation. This bovine is immune to flames as well.
Bull is getting back up again, and getting knocked back down, and getting back up again.
It'll never be able to keep him down.
Despite a strong donkey kick with its rear hooves to plant the bull back on its haunches, I think I have to agree with you.
Of course. It is plain that this Chinese fauna is unable to destroy such an uncontrollable force of chaos.
I think the Qilin is realizing this as well. It just kicked again, but this time it cheekily used the force to propel itself away and back down the tunnel.
And the bull charges forward once more.
Typhon, does it look like the Qilin is getting more frantic?
Indeed. It is becoming desperate to find a way out.
A right, a left, straight ahead, left again.
And there it is.
The opening! It's the home stretch!
The bull is inches behind.
It's almost there!
The beast is on top of it.
And... oh my lord!
Where once was daylight is now a massive scarlet monstrosity.
The Qilin needs to turn!
Both giant horns have been embedded into the Qilin's side.
And the bull is carrying it deeper into the cave.
The smaller creatures kicking to no avail.
It drove right through the wall and stopped.
The Qilin has been thrown forward to the stone flooring.
Oh my, I think the Qilin's luck has run out. It's standing up but can't seem to hold itself steady.
Try to run now, coward.
Impartiality, Typhon? It's trying to run, but a serious limp is holding it back.
It is time for the running of the bull.
And we all know what happens to the runners who can't keep the pace.
Termination. With nostrils blazing and lava pouring from its wounds, the Red Bull has run down the wounded animal and crushed it under its massive, trampling hooves.
Wow, for a new variation on Monster Smash procedure, that was quite fun.
I am pleased as well.
Not much to say about this matchup. With matching auras of wildfire, this was all about speed and strength.
The Qilin was much faster than the Red Bull, at first.
But the Unicorn Hunter has a knack for always catching up to its prey.
Its bloodlust ability.
Meaning the longer this went, the faster it became.
Add on the fact that it can change into a fireball to teleport, and you've got a huge angry cow you can't shake.
Yes, the Qilin had some luck, but nothing we could find would indicate that it was anything more than minor influence over events.
A powerful entity like the Red Bull could easily overwhelm it.
And the Qilin was intelligent enough to navigate the maze and find the exit rather quickly, but with a massive monster harassing it, it just couldn't make it to the gate in time.
So close, yet so far.
The winner is the Red Bull.
Oh my gosh, number one, can we go home now because I'm just really hungry? I just ate a shovel and it didn't really help me because...
Shoot, I had a shovel once. Was the only way I was able to keep my buddy Skeeter from digging up his dead cockatrice for necromantic purposes. Patrick, I am disappointed that you ousted me at the beginning of this uncouth charade. I will be filing a formal complaint at our next meeting.
You know, number 8, after all was said and done, you weren't the worst tie today.
Oh. Well, if you'd like, I could return for the next show.
Not a chance.
Number 42 shall continue to fulfill his duties going forward, number 8.
But I have so many opinions about how to make these creature duels more analytical and thought-provoking.
You're still the worst, number 8.
And with that definitive and accurate statement, it's time to say goodbye for this week. For Yowie, Jenny Greenteeth, and the many heads of Typhon, Greek father of all monsters, I'm Batboy saying, good night, Ms. Ripley, wherever you are. See you next time.